Sup nerds, here's the deck that got me 5th place in this weekend's Core TCG Online Regional. Starting off with our Tama, we are running 4 Tokomon from BT14. Your turn once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, draw 1. This is the best Tama in my opinion for Magna Vaccine. It's really important to see all of your pieces to go into your Magna as quickly as possible. Onto our rookies, we are running 4 Little Bread Loafs, BT14 Patamon. Starting your main phase, search your security stack. This Digimon may digivolve into a yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait among them without paying the cost and shuffle your security stack. If you digivolve by the effect, place a yellow vaccine card from your hand to the bottom of your security stack. That is optional, you don't have to. Even if it were mandatory, it would still be technically optional because your hand is private information. The inheritable is your turn once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, gain 1 memory. So this inheritable actually sees that happen. So you evo for -1 memory, and on top of this Tama, you draw a card, which is really cool. This is the rookie you want to see in your opening hand. Best rookie in the deck by a wide margin. Next, we are running 4 Salamon from BT15. Start your main phase. If you have 3 or more security cards, you may add the top card of your security stack to the hand. If you have 2 or fewer, you may add 1 yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait to the top or bottom of your security stack. So fun fact, if you have exactly 3 at the start of your main phase, you can trigger both effects. You do have to trigger the first one to then have 2, but you can trigger both sequentially. So you can add the top card and then put a yellow vaccine on top or bottom. This is really good when your opponent puts you to 1 or 0 security. You can promote this out of raising and recover 1, and then you're back in the game because all of your effects basically require you to have at least 1 security. So this guy is really good at making sure you just don't lose in those scenarios. And the inheritable is also really strong. All turns once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. Card is amazing when comboed with Ace Angelwomon, or Angelwomon Ace I should say. That is 8,000 DP you get to hit, and that basically blows up everything level 5 or lower. And it's DP reduction, which gets around a lot of immunities and protection effects and whatnot. Then our last 2 rookies, we are playing 2 Pillowmons from BT9, little EP boys. All turns, players can't play Digimon by effects. Hey, that unfair thing you're doing. No. We don't play any Digimon by effects ever in this deck. We're not playing Gatomon or anything like that, so these guys don't even affect us at all. This is basically just telling our opponent, hey, you're dual Tamer that plays dudes, not today. Your Partition, not today. Unga Bungamon, Gates, not today. It hurts Demon Lords quite a bit because you can play around like Lucemon Chaos Mode, the Rise option. Obviously, Gates' ability to play out Unga Bungamon can't happen either. Diaboromon also just got support, and that deck's like moderately good now, so like this also poops on them. Third best rookie to play in this deck, in my opinion. It stops the unfair stuff that may be able to outpace you and kill you before you can set up. And that is it. We were just running 10 rookies. I actually cut my rookie count from 11 to 10 for this list. Then on to our level 4s. We actually bumped our Rapidmon count up. We are playing 4 BT8 Rapidmon. Armor Purge. When digivolving, feature your Tamer. Suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon, then up to 3 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 5,000 DP for the turn. Evos for 4 normally, but if you're evoing out of your security with Patamon, it is -1 memory. Assume you don't have any BT14 TKs also set up. This guy is bananas, especially against a lot of the new stuff. He decimates Diaboromon boards. He poops on Demon Lords because suspending them and then running them over doesn't proc their effect to tuck into their gates, because they don't get it if they die by battle. So him being at 4 is really good. I played against 2 Demon Lords all day. That matchup is basically free for this deck, but this helps it even more than it already is. Like, it's a plus matchup for you already, like probably like either 95-5 or like 99-100, and that's not an exaggeration. But this guy helps it even more. And then we are playing 4 starter deck 17 level 4 Rapidmons. Also has Armor Purge. Has Blocker though. Don't forget that. That is a useful feature of him. Does evo for 4 or -1 memory on top of a Patamon. All turns once per turn when this Digimon becomes suspended, 1 of your opponent's Digimon and all of their security Digimon get minus 4,000 DP until the end of their turn. That is an end of your opponent's turn DP reduction, so keep that in mind. That's one of our ways to stack DP on stuff that is immune, whether that be Magna X or Tyrant Kabu, whatever. And then all turns, inheritable, while this Digimon is suspended, it gets 1,000 DP. Very cool to get under your Magna, because when it suspends, I'm assuming it's only procced once, it's 16k instead of 15, which can come up versus level 7s and stuff. And this guy, when he's swinging at security due to his effect, is 11k effective, which is basically like a mega swinging, so it's relatively safe against most decks besides, I would say, like Demon Lords or something like that. And then we actually cut our gold Digimon count from 4 to 2 to make room for the extra Rapidmons, obviously. It does Evo for 3, which is nice. It can come up where you do not have a Patamon, or you just don't have something in security to Evo into your Patamon, or Evo on top of your Patamon, I should say. And you Evo into this guy without passing turn. He does have Armor Purge as well. And also, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. If you have a blue or yellow Tamer in play, or have a card with Armor Form and its traits in your trash, one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. That is also a really useful effect that can come up. Can randomly keep you from dying, or can randomly just stop your opponent from being able to block and you just kill them. He's definitely the third best armor to play in this version, considering the top end we have now. And that is it. We're just playing 10 champions. On to our level 5s. You guessed it. 4 Angewomon Aces from BT15. Obviously can hand counter Blast Evo. On play / when Digivolving, by trashing the top or bottom card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP until the end of their turn. All turns once per turn when a card is moved from your security stack. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, recover +1. This coming down, especially if you have a Salamon inheritable on your field somewhere, and just blowing up level 5s for basically free, because you're going to get the recovery off of it, is really strong. And just being able to play her for 4 and trash something, and then generally you have memory gain on your field when you recover, so she won't even pass turn if it's like the first thing you're doing for the turn, which is really good because it lets you stack something else that DP minuses until the end of your opponent's turn if that's necessary. But that is it. We were just playing 4 of her, no other level 5s, no Magna Angemon Aces, just 4 of her because she's the best one. On to our Megas. Yep, 4 Magna X, Evos for 4. Although we basically rarely ever do that, since obviously we're running 4 level 5s. It does happen. I mean, I do it occasionally, but most of the time you're going to be evoing into this guy for 3 memory. Blocker, Armor Purge. When Digivolving, if Magnamon X or an Armor Form trait is in this Digimon's sources until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon gets 3,000 DP and isn't affected by your opponent's effects. Then unsuspend it. All turns once per turn when a card is removed from either security stack, you may activate one of this Digimon's when Digivolving effects. This is the namesake of the deck. This is your boss monster. This is the guy you put out in front of your opponent and be like, hey, if you don't deal with this, you're just going to lose in the next few turns. And most decks actually don't have answers to this besides like ace cards, assuming you can't proc it before you swing. But the great thing about this version is you basically always have cards in your hand that can proc his effect without having to swing in your opponent's security first. But yeah, this guy basically makes certain, like, this is the reason why the 7 Great Demon Lords matchup is free. And basically any purple deck is plus. You have a plus matchup in any purple deck because of him, because all of their stuff is just like, hey, try to delete that guy. And you're just like, hey, no. And then, even if they can delete him, he has Armor Purge. So you're just like, okay, go back to my other armor that's underneath him. You're going to delete it again? Cool, who cares? And then we are playing 3 Rapidmon X's. I'm sure you guys could have guessed by the level 4 lineup. I did decide to play this. I've been testing it for the past couple weeks and finally decided that it's probably the right version for this meta. Decimates Diaboromon boards. It really helps versus the 7 Great Demon Lords matchup, which is already heavily in your favor, but this makes it to where it's even more in your favor. So it does Evo for 3 on top of our level 5s. That rarely happens though. It Evos on top of Rapidmon for 4 memory, so you just warp Evo from your level 4 into this guy. Has Armor Purge. And then when Digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon, then this Digimon may attack. That is really dope because you can just swing over Demon Lords. They don't proc their effect. Swing over big dudes after DP minusing with other stuff. All turns, while Rapidmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, all of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 4,000 DP. That is pretty filthy. This card alone, or that effect alone, just absolutely shafts the promo Wormmon, or not the promo, the PD16 Wormmon into promo Shadramon combo for like Perpetual Dramon. They literally can't do it because it plays stuff out suspended. LOL, that doesn't work. All turns once per turn when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle or by having 0 DP, gain 2 memory. So what's really cool is if you promote Pata, Evo for -1 into a Rapid. If it's BT8, you get to suspend minus 5k on a bunch of stuff. And then you warp into this for 4 memory. You're not even passing turn at this point because assuming you have a memory setter. So you go back to 0. Something's probably going to die. You gain back 2 memory. So you have gone from Patamon to Mega for 1 memory effectively. Pretty cool. I've debated between 2 and 3 for the past like week or two, but I finally decided on 3 just so I saw it consistently, and just so like every time I drew it, I didn't like hold it because I'm like, oh man, I'm probably never going to see the other one. The third one is what I cut my third Pillowmon for, but I do not regret that. I never missed Pillow. That is it. We're just playing 7 Megas. On to our Tamers. We are playing 2 Digimon Emperor from BT8. All turns, when one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to draw 1. That's a really good effect. Added draw power in the matchups that are not Mirage. Opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from their breeding area to their battle area, gain 2 memory. That is really good versus the Magnamon armor variant. The mirror, because their Patamon loses them 2 memory immediately. And if you get 2 of these on the field, if they promote Patamon with less than 4 memory, they immediately pass turn, which is really sick. It's also really good against the Nume matchup. I ultimately put it in here because of how much it impacts the Nume matchup, as well as the Rapid X's. They help that matchup a lot too. But yeah, I did not regret playing this. Every game I saw it versus decks that it helped against, it put in a lot of work, stole memory from them like almost every turn, or forced them to do suboptimal things like even into level 4s in their raising area when they would have gotten benefits from doing it in their battle area. And then we are playing 4 BT14 TK Takashis. This is the best card to set up your Patamon with. On play, by returning the top card of your security stack to the hand, you may place 1 yellow card with the vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. Your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. Not only does it help set up your Patamon, obviously, but this card lets you manipulate your memory so easily that you can, if your opponent does not have a memory setter and you get a little bit ahead of them, it is ridiculously easy to repeatedly choke your opponent to 1 every single turn. And that's the best play to do. So if you do get in that situation, repeatedly choke your opponent, even if they're not into it. And then we are playing 3 BT1 TK Takashis. Obviously, it's a memory setter. On play, look at your security stack, then reveal 1 card in it, add it to your hand. If it's yellow, recover +1, then shuffle your security stack. This is the best memory setter I think you can play in this deck. There is an argument to be made for playing maybe 1 of the BT15 Kari Kamiya to help with the Mirage matchup. However, I don't think it's worth it, because of how much consistency this card adds to your deck in every other matchup. And even then, you'd have to see that Kari versus the Mirage matchup and not have something on the field they can bounce with their Mirage anyway. This card is really amazing. If you open Pata in one of these TKs, most likely you're going to be set up. And even if you just open Pata in this TK, at least you know that your Pata is going to whiff, so you just don't promote next turn unless you have a plan for when it does whiff. I almost was tempted to run 4 of this card just because of how beneficial it is. Also, stacking these cards against Demon Lords really hurts their Chaos Mode plays because they just play out Chaos Mode. They're like effect, and you're like, cool, pop one of my like 3 memory setters. You got it, dude. But that is it. We are just playing 9 Tamers. Just playing 9 Tamers. We're playing 9 Tamers, which is quite a lot, but all of them were very useful all tournament. Onto our options. We are playing 4 Yellow Mem Boost. Main, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a yellow Digimon card among them to the hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck, then place this card in the battle area. Main, delay, trash this, gain 2 memory. So I'm playing this over trainings for a multitude of reasons. One, I want to dig 4 cards deep as opposed to 2 cards deep, and this is the card that lets you do it. Trainings are cool because they let you add options and Tamers, but you legit don't need those cards if you have access to extra memory and you're seeing your pieces that you need to see. Like all the important cards that I would want to see that don't get hit on this card, I'm playing 4 of anyway. Like BT14 TK I'm playing 4, our next option I'm playing 4 of. You're going to have a couple of those in your hand almost every game because of your draw power and whatnot. This gets to your Patamons, it gets to your Magnas, it gets to your Rapid X's if you need those. Also, training gets decimated if your opponent has a Dragon Mode on the field. You're playing its Imperial because you literally can't activate them. You just get blown out if they have an Imperial to go into to interact with your board. Also, being able to pop these to gain extra memory to then like hard play stuff, options and Digimon to out your opponent's stuff and like stack DP minus on it is really important. And then we are playing 4 Awakening of the Golden Knight for BT9. You may digivolve 1 of your Digimon with armor form and its traits into a Digimon card with Magnamon in its name in your hand, ignoring its digivolution requirements without paying the memory cost. The Digimon that digivolve with this effect can't have its DP reduced by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's turn. And then security, return 1 card with Magnamon in its name from your trash to the hand and add this card to your hand. This is why we evo into Magna for 3 memory. The high roll scenario is you promote Patamon, evo for -1 memory, activate Awakening, evo into Magnamon. You've gone from Patamon to Magnamon X for effectively 2 memory. Pretty filthy. Also checked out of security if they've already outed a Magna, or if it was checked out of security early, you get to add 1 back to your hand. This is one of the best cards in the deck. It's a card I want to see early and often. That's why I'm playing 4, because you can bot deck some of them with the memory boost, but playing 4 of them, you almost always see this, like almost every game. And then our last 2 options, we are playing 2 Megalo Sparks from BT11. It is a 5 cost option, but if you have a yellow Tamer in play, it's reduced by 1, so it's a 4 cost, which is really nice. Main, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 8,000 DP until the end of their turn. That is really important to the end of their turn. Also, this being 8,000 interacts with level 5s really well. Either it's an ace level 5, or it's level 5 where your opponent's trying to set up an ace. You're like, hey, no, no, lol. But if you do pop a level 5 ace, it feels amazing because it's basically 1 memory. We're not playing Heaven's Judgment in this list. If you guys haven't noticed, these are the last 2 cards of the deck. I cut those to make room for the Rapid X's and the Digimon Emperors. The only matchup that I feel that actually sort of hurts is the Tyrant Kabu matchup, which I do realize that apparently came in second at the regional and is probably going to gain a little bit of popularity. But the thing is you don't actually need Heaven's Judgment for that matchup. You can stack DP on your opponent's Tyrant Kabu with all of your Digimon effects and this card if you want to, and it'll die during their unsuspend phase, because it unsuspends and then is immediately affected by your opponent's Digimon effects, and his DP goes to 0 and it blows up. The fact that it dies in their unsuspend phase is actually really cool if they have an ace underneath it. Like if they have Grand Koaga ace, or heaven forbid they have Mega Kabu ace and Grand Koaga ace underneath it, which I have seen. They immediately die during the unsuspend phase and lose 7 memory, and they just get their turn stolen. They don't even draw for turn. If they have a memory setter, it sets them to 3 at the very beginning, and then unsuspend phase, they unsuspend, and he's like, hey, my DP's 0, and the game's like, oh, okay, get out of here, kid. And then they immediately lose 7 memory and don't even draw for turn. It's immediately your turn again. But that is it for the list. I went 8-1 through 9 rounds. I'll go through my matchups real quick for those of you that are curious. Round 1, I played against Imperial. I won that match 2-1. Round 2, I played against Magnamon X Armor, the Vmon bottom end variant. Won that 2-0. Round 3, played against Perperial Jamon. Won that 2-0. Round 4, played against Mirage. Had relatively slow starts both games, and he didn't have slow starts, or at least relative to the hands I was having. He did 2-0 me. That's an unfortunate matchup that just, you match up kind of poorly into them because of their ability to ignore your stuff, and if you try to set up ace plays, they just bounce your stuff before they evo and things like that. Once we get BT17 though, and we get level 7 aces, that matchup immediately goes away. Like, you just win that matchup for free. Round 5, played against Leviamon, which I was surprised to see that. Won that 2-0. Round 6, played against the Magnamon Vaccine Mirror. Won that 2-0. Round 7, played against 7 Great Demon Lords, which, as I've said multiple times, is free. Won that 2-0. Round 8, played against Anubismon Turbo with some Levi pieces, but it was Anubismon. He Anubismon'd me like on his 3rd or 4th turn of the game. Dropped a Death X, which cleared my Rapid X because I hadn't seen Magna X at that point. And then he Anubis into Merva comboed the next turn and just killed me from there. But then I won game 2 and 3 because it's purple deck. And then round 9, played against 7 Great Demon Lords. Again, the only duplicate matchup of the day. Won that 2-0. We take those. Ended up coming in 5th place. Earned my invite and a serialized Omnimon, as well as like the other prizes that you get for coming in top 8. I'll probably show off the Omni once I get it in the mail for you guys that want to see it. But if you guys have any questions, anything to address, feel free to leave them down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.